China's national broadcaster, CCTV, looking increasingly like Russian state television these days. Its anchors parroting the Kremlin, calling the invasion of Ukraine a special military operation. Its stories highlighting Moscow's grievances against Kyiv and its Western allies, along with Russia's military progress on the battlefield. They rarely mention the fierce resistance and growing suffering in war-torn Ukraine. Publicly, Beijing stresses its impartiality in the conflict, even indicating its willingness to be a mediator. Coverage in its strictly controlled state and social media tells a very different story. CNN combing through Chinese TV and digital news reports in the first 8 days of the Russian attack, along with thousands of social media posts from the outlets. Our findings? China has largely adopted Russia's talking points, actively helping the Kremlin disseminate its version of the bloody war to millions here and beyond. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has yet to respond to our request for comment. But remember, Russian President Vladimir Putin's last foreign visit before he launched the invasion was here to China. Following the 38th meeting between Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping since 2013, and just hours before the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, the two governments declared a partnership with no limits. China and Russia's increasingly close ties had included coordinating their message on the global stage. Such coordination, it now appears, has drawn Beijing into playing an important role in the Kremlin's disinformation campaign. On February 26, after 2 nights of Russian bombardment, Zelensky shared a video of himself on the streets of Kyiv. Russian officials quickly alleged that Zelensky had fled the country, and the video was pre-recorded. Less than 15 minutes later, CCTV flashed a news alert claiming Zelensky has left Kyiv, initially without any attribution. More than 160 Chinese state media outlets reposted the CCTV alert. A hashtag, Russia says Zelensky has left Kyiv, later got more than 510 million views on Chinese social media Weibo. And yet, it was not true. Perhaps most damning, an internal memo purportedly from state-run publication Beijing News surfaced online 2 days before the Russian invasion even started. The memo directed staff not to publish anything negative about Russia or pro-West. It was mistakenly posted on the outlet's social media account before being set to private and eventually deleted. CNN research has found that China's major state media outlets appear to be following that playbook. Of the most retweeted posts on Weibo from February 24th through March 3rd, more than 46% contained pro-Russia comments, compared to less than 5% with pro-Ukraine statements. Roughly 35% of the posts included attacks on the U.S. and its allies. With reports by Russia's state media outlets being banned in many Western nations, and Moscow enacting its own Great Firewall to censor dissenting voices domestically, Chinese state media is spreading and amplifying Putin's narrative on air and online, around the clock and across the globe.
David Culver joins me now live from Shanghai. Given how heavily censored China's media content is it clear how most people there feel about the Russian invasion? What's the sentiment?
Yeah, if you go through Chinese social media, Anderson, and you see folks scrolling through and thumbing through all the different pages, you see a lot of pictures of Putin. You don't see many pictures and images from where you are in Ukraine to show the realities of the crisis. That said, it's not fair to say that folks here are totally ignorant of what's going on. They have access to even CNN. Through VPNs, they can see Western social media. And so little by little, as this war is continuing to go on, as the fighting is pursuing, they're starting to see more of the realities trickle in. And you see questions are starting to be raised as to, hey, what are Russia's intentions in all of this? That said, it puts Beijing in a really difficult position because they're in the midst of this balancing act, trying to still appease their best friend. At least that's how President Xi has described President Putin and their northern neighbors, and at the same time trying to portray themselves as global peacemakers and potentially mediators in all of this. It doesn't seem to be something they can sustain for much longer, Anderson.